Kelly. She's better known on Instagram as Lil Bit of Fit with a bunch of underscores in there. I remember somebody said, "Hey, have you seen Little Bit of Fit?" And so I'm like, Little. Nope, not finding anybody. And they're
Oh
like,
yeah.
no, Lil Bit of Fit. I guess you're a tiny
We gotta
girl.
make people work for it.
Hey, that's all right. So LIL underscore BIT underscore OF underscore FIT. Once you find it, you won't forget it because I
You
was
got it.
bragging about you before you came here. I was like, this is the most vulnerable girl I've ever seen online. My best friend is here. I see her down there. She's very vulnerable in her work. Girl, you take vulnerability to a whole nother stratosphere, and it's what makes your work so attractive for your followers. So kudos to you being willing to be so open and honest. And we're definitely going to do a lot of that on the podcast today. So thank you
Yeah.
for that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah, so let's talk about you for a minute. You are a nutritionist, a radiographer, so that's
Yes.
when you wear your little tag at work, you're a radiographer.
That says
Uh
that everyone loves.
yes. A writer and athlete. You did lose 55 pounds on a carnivore diet, helping to
Yep.
heal your Crohn's disease. I want to hear that story. What is that? American flag, steak,
Oh, are you reading my
coffee,
bio?
and whiskey aficionado. I think that's
Love me
what you're trying to say. What?
I said love me some bourbon.
Oh, bourbon. Okay, thank you.
Bourbon. Well, whiskey, bourbon. There's
Whiskey, bourbon.
we won't get
Yeah.
into.
Yes. So, why don't we start with your healing journey because Crohn's disease is a bitch, and you had to deal probably with a lot of nonsense before you found what would work for you.
Oh, absolutely. So basically, I live with gut issues like my entire life. And I know there's a lot of us out there, you go to the doctor and what do they tell you? Eat more fruits and vegetables, eat more fiber. Well, I tried all that and my symptoms just exacerbated. Like they just got worse. So my particular symptoms, like I had abdominal pain, I was chronically constipated all of the time, GI bleeding. I mean, you name it. Like I would be okay, it seemed like in the morning, but then by after lunch and then dinner time, like I looked like I was 6 months pregnant. And I
Yeah.
just didn't really understand. I mean, my diet, like, once I kind of got into nutrition and fitness, I cleaned it up. I didn't eat terrible per se, but I always struggled with my relationship with carbohydrates, sugar, binge eating, disordered eating, like you guys name it. I did it. I struggled with it. So I empathize with all of you, that have struggled, are still struggling, because it really does. It's paralyzing if you let it do
Yeah.
that to and you just have to figure out what works for you. Your doctors are there to help you, but really, like, we really know what's best for ourselves. We get lost in all the information out there. So I always noticed, like, how I kind of started with the low carb thing. I always noticed when I would go low carb or do a reset diet that my gut issues significantly minimized. Now I wasn't committing to it long term like I have like the past 2+ years, but when I dabbled in it, I noticed improvement for sure. So that kind of piqued my interest. Being a CrossFit athlete, you know, they tell you, oh, you got to eat a ton of carbohydrates. You're fueled with carbohydrates, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like it is a very efficient fuel source if you can break them down properly and you have a good emotional relationship with them. Neither one I had. So, figured out after a while like that really wasn't the road that I needed to go on and I needed to change something. Wasn't officially diagnosed with Crohn's disease until about 2018. So fairly recent, really. I kind of always knew that it was more than just IBS because they just, oftentimes they just kind of put a label on there when they can't really figure out what's going on. They just say, "Oh, you have irritable bowel syndrome."
Right.
I knew it was more than that. Like my symptoms weren't normal. So anyways, officially diagnosed with Crohn's disease in 2018. When quarantine hit us in 2020, I figured, what better time to really buckle down and figure out what's going on and commit to this kind of a lifestyle when like your norm was taken away from you anyways. So committed to it. I have learned so much over the 2+ years. So for anybody who's still trying to figure it out, like have patience. Like it's not a quick journey. It really took me about a whole year to adapt to that style of eating. I gained 15 pounds. When I initially started, I wished I had tracked my food when I started, because I know most people, when they start a carnivore lifestyle or a meat-based lifestyle, they're like, oh, don't track your food. Don't worry about it. Just eat whatever you want. Well, your story matters. And I preach this to my clients and other people, who are beginning. Like, your starting point really makes a difference in the efficacy of this diet, whether it's right for you, whether you're going to gain weight, whether you're going to lose weight, nutrition basics, it all plays into it. Quality and quantity of food, like the whole bit. There's more to it than just eating meat and eating all that you want and thinking that your body is magically going to do what you want it to, and it's going to happen in like even 30 days. Because I'm telling you right now, it doesn't. I didn't lose any weight until about 8-9 months in to my journey.
Well, the problem is, Katie, diet mentality, especially for you ladies, kind of kicks in. And so I think the propensity early on is women, especially guys, not so much. We can put down some food, but
Yeah.
girls kind of eat a little more like a bird, a little more dainty, because that's what the mentality has been: cut back, cut back, cut back. And so if you're eating even a carnivore diet and you're not eating enough, which means you're not getting enough amino acids and enough fatty acids and all the things that you get, that can also be detrimental. Yeah, you might cut some weight early, but then at some point your body's like, we need some more. You're not feeding us enough. So have you noticed that with some of your clients?
Oh, absolutely. I'd say probably 99% of the clients and the people that come to me, and I talk to you guys all the time. I take client calls every single day, and I love talking to you guys. I'd say 99% of you guys need to go through what is called a reverse diet. So you're not seeing results. You've stalled, you've plateaued because you're not eating enough food, or you've been chronically dieting your entire life, and you think things are going to change when you go meat based, and it doesn't work. Like, nutrition basics still matter. The quantity of food you're eating still matters. And it's just tracking is just from a data standpoint. Like, let's just gain self-awareness on, oh, okay, this is where I'm starting right now. This is how many calories I'm eating. This is where my protein is. This is how much fat I'm consuming. And from there, you can make more appropriate adjustments to tell you where you need to go to move the needle forward, instead of just guessing and changing shit willy-nilly, which most of you do, and then you have no idea what works and what doesn't.
Well, and a lot of people, when things don't go fast enough, Katie, they will change things too quickly. Whereas you're kind of wait it out, kind of trust the process, so to speak, and go down the road. But like, people are so, I want to see results and want to see it now. How do you help them with the mentality of that?
You have to remind them, like, we're emotional creatures. We're human. We have human emotions. You really have to take the emotion out of it. So write down, like, how is it that you want to feel, and how you feel is different for everyone. I had a client call yesterday, and I think I kind of made her uncomfortable because I kept asking her how she wanted to feel, because the definition of that is different. Feeling good may be, I want to be strong in the gym and I want to have a lot of energy. Feeling good may be, I just want to feel good in my clothes. Or feeling good may be, I want to have six-pack abs. Those definitions are all completely different and are
Yes.
take a different approach to your diet and being realistic about your goals. So you need to really nail down specifics as to what you want. You have to nail down where you are currently and get real with it. And from there, figure out, okay, so this is where I want to be. These are the changes that I need to make to get there, because this is where I'm starting. So really, like, everybody just needs to start there. Make baby changes. Routine is everything. So having a success routine that is easy for you to implement and stick to, that's going to get you where you need to go. It's everything. Really, your habits are everything. The mindset, reminding yourself, because we're going to have those pitfalls and those feelings, periods of weakness. You have to remind yourself what your why is and why you're doing it. Like, what kind of person do you want to be? Who do you want to embody? What is that person going to do? Is that person going to talk bad to themselves and then give in and binge eat and eat a bunch of stuff that they know is just going to make them feel bad? Or is that person going to pick themselves up and be like, okay, XYZ, this is what I need to do. I'm going to silence that that negative voice, and I'm going to move on. So you really just have to have a lot of mental fortitude, know yourself, and know that you're worthy and deserving of everything that you want.
It is amazing how much shit we give ourselves that we would never give to a best friend, to somebody we love and trust in our lives. We would never say the kinds of things that we tell ourselves right here. And it's like so much of this journey is calming this down, calming all
Oh, one
thoughts.
mindset is everything. Like everything flows from that. And it doesn't just have to do with your body and food. I mean, it's everything. It's money, it's love, it's, whatever you define as success. Like everything stems from your thoughts and what you think of yourself and what you're deserving of. Everything's a cycle. Like if you notice your cycles and you notice what mentality you're in and the things that you're attracting into your life, like you can switch it like that. Like you can manifest anything that you want. You just have to figure out, like, what is the mindset shift that I have to make? What is the person that I have to be first and believe in the person that I want to be? What kind of life are they going to live? What do I want? It really, everything stems from that. But you're
And
right. We're bad to ourselves. We talk terrible to ourselves, and we would never talk to our best friend like that.
horrible. Like I even, because I've done it, you've done it, we've all
Oh,
done it. It's
100.
not like we're all immune to it. And even when you work on yourself, you still have moments. And so it's okay to have moments. It's like those people that just perpetually live there and they don't even realize they're like perpetuating the sympathetic nervous system, never giving their body relief. And then they wonder, why can't I lose weight? I'm eating perfect. I'm doing all the things that Katie's telling me to do and nothing's moving. And I can always sense when people write me and they're like struggling, and I can feel the
Oh,
intensity of, and
feel
I'm,
it.
that's
Yeah.
why I can't lose weight, my dear. Please let go of the stress.
Yeah. It's like they don't realize the emotional weight may be the actual thing weighing you down. Really. Like once you get rid of that, everything starts to align and it gets so much easier. Hi, Holly. Oh, I love seeing everybody's name pop up there.
Holly's one of my regulars too, so I think
Yeah,
she's
I
a
think
both
I
of us.
talk to her every day.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I love that you focus so much on the mindset stuff, and I mentioned at the beginning how vulnerable you are about all the shit of life, as I put down there in the
Oh,
description. And there's a lot of things that we go through in life. And I talk a lot in my own work about the childhood trauma and how it impacted me, but even like the ramifications of the ripple effect of how it impacted going into adulthood. And like just now, I'm 50 years old. I'm just now at the point where I'm like, I've dealt with it the last 3 years and I feel like I'm in a good spot. But some people, they never get to that point where they're even wanting to broach getting into fixing it because it's just too painful in their mind's eye. It's too painful to go there again. How do you do that?
mm-hmm. A lot of it comes from shame. Like we feel shame over things that we view as failures, which I really don't view anything as a failure as long as you learn a lesson from it. Like nothing's really a mistake. It's
Right.
really just experience. Like that's how I view things now. There's no right or wrong answer. So you guys, like you really have to deal with the root issue of things, which whether it's childhood trauma or past relationship trauma or bad experiences that you've had dieting, or like kids were terrible to me when I was heavier in school, and I carried that with me throughout adulthood, and I was probably in my mid 30s. I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in July before I really loved myself and made peace with that, and I didn't feel shame from it anymore.
Yeah.
Or I've divorced twice. Like people who are divorced like just think they're terrible people just because they had relationships that didn't work out, but that's fine. Like it was just an experience, and as long as you learn from that and you're a better person now because of it, like nothing's a failure. Nothing. So it's really getting rid of that shame piece, because that's like one of the lowest emotions, like on the emotion scale, is shame. And when you can make peace with that, forgive yourself, and just love yourself unconditionally for whatever, whether you work, whatever you look like if you're in a relationship or not, like if you can come to a point of peace and you're happy with your life, like really everything else is going to be lighter and so much better for you.
Here, here. Although better, easier said than done, because there's a lot of people that they do start to get in their own head, especially with like the relationship thing where they desire it so much, and then past relationships kind of dictate, oh my gosh, what's wrong with me? And that's okay to be introspective and kind of say, how can I be better for whoever the next person is? But it kind of, after a while, and rejection and kind of all the things that go with it, it's hard to get your mind out of that negative mentality that I'm going to get out of this.
Mm-hmm.
And so that giving people hope in the midst of the journey, that's the tricky part. And I feel it. I see it in your writings. I see it in your
Mm-hmm.
videos all the time. You pour out your heart about your frustration with things, but I love how you always kind of, but I'm okay because I'm a badass woman, because I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to keep being me, and that will attract the right vibe, the right everything to bring that person in my life that I want.
You truly have to love yourself. Like, too many people are attached to outcomes. They set expectations. They have this freaking check off list, for whatever it is, diets. Yeah, I can do this or not, or guys or women, yes, she checks all the boxes, whatever. But when you're so attached to something and you desire it so much, like, that's when you repel things. Like, it runs away from you. Like, you really have to learn to let go. Just love yourself where you are, learn to be in the moment, learn to love your journey. It's just like dieting, relationships, professionally, whatever. Like, if you love every step of the journey, whether it's a good experience or a not so good experience, there's nothing that you can't do, because you've let go of the expectation of things and you're present in the moment and you just take things as they come to you. Like, if you love yourself, everything's going to be fine. You don't need anyone to complete you. I can think I can speak for most of us. None of us want to be alone the rest of our lives. It would be really nice to find somebody that's pretty freaking awesome, like, to enjoy and live life with. But you don't need someone else to complete you. You don't need to be a certain size to be whole. You don't need to look a certain way to be whole. And it just really all comes down to self love. Everything does.
I love the meme that's out there right now. Those of you who are in the dating world, choose wisely. They're going to be your apocalypse partners.
Absolutely. Choose your circle and your environment wisely. Like, if there's one piece of advice, I know I hear this a lot from married, couples, like, my partner doesn't support me. Okay, well, communication's everything. I think most of
Yeah.
you guys know that. Communication's everything. Have you communicated how you feel? Like, don't place blame on the other person, but just explain, like, I'm making these choices, whether it's, with your job or your diet, because this is how I want to feel. Because if I feel this way, I'm going to be able to better serve other people. You got to communicate that first and foremost with that other person. If you are constantly butting heads with, whether it's friends or, coworkers or whatever, and it is not serving you in a positive way and there's nothing you can do about it, you do have the choice to change that. You do have the choice. And again, that all stems from, like, self-worth, mindset, believing in what you deserve. Like, so be mindful of your circle, because what is it? You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with and your environment. So take notes. Like, what are you consuming? Whether it's food, social media, your friends around you, bad habits, where are you going? What are you consuming? Like, are you consuming, things that are nourishing to you, that are going to make you want to be a better person, or are you not? Because you can cut that stuff from your life.
It's been 3 years since the release of my last book, but now I have written a brand new book called One Step Deeper Journal, The Foundations, featuring my co-host of my One Step Deeper podcast, Brittany Lee Davis. And this, you guys, is going to be an incredible book for those of you who struggle with mindset, struggle with why you believe things the way you do, if you've gone through any kind of trauma in your life. We got you. It's a 40-day journal. We're going to take you through all of the different topics. Brittany and I actually give you a lot of our own personal story. There will be lots of places to do journal entries where we prod you. This is one of the proudest books I've ever written, and it's available at onestepdeeperjournal.com. Within the next few days, we're expecting it to be available on Amazon, so go check it out. One Step Deeper Journal, The Foundations. Yeah, and you should cut them from your life. Sometimes life will cut them for you.
Oh,
I went through a pretty bad breakup in my marriage and divorce 3 years ago, and like immediately lost 90% of the people in my life. 90%. I mean, damn, talk about choosing sides. F you, all you people that left my life.
so quick, especially I get it. My first divorce, I was college sweetheart with him 11 years, married 6 years. You know, everybody only knows you as a couple, and you do. You lose a lot of friends. Like you figure out who your friends really are when that kind of stuff happens, or
Oh,
you hit bottom and like there were only people there supporting you through the good times. But that's okay. You got to learn to let those people go because that's the universe protecting you for better
oh,
come into your life. Like just let it go. Block and bless, like I like to say, block and bless.
what has
Bye bye.
what has happened since then, Katie, is my tribe is smaller, but they're fucking
Awesome.
devoted to Jimmy. They love me. Ironically, I connect with ladies. Guys are stupid. Like guys have no intelligence. I'm sorry, dudes. If you have emotional intelligence, I apologize, but I haven't found one that
Uh,
has time that will keep up with me. And even a lot of girls don't have the emotional intelligence either. But the ones that do, I vibe with. This is why I love your work. I really like connect with you on a deeper level than most people, only because you show that vulnerability that's just it's so evident to everybody. I see a lot of your followers on here talking about how much they love you and everything.
oh,
So
I have
kudos.
the best social media. My digital family is awesome. I talk to you guys every day. You guys brighten my day. I just hope you know how much I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, the Jimmy tribe the same way. They follow me with everything. I'm doing ice baths for 5 minutes daily in 32-degree water every single day, and they're right here every day. Uh,
Awesome. It makes the world so much smaller. Like people are like, "Aren't you like lonely?" And I was like, "Nope. Big difference between being alone and lonely." I was like,
yes,
"I on social media whenever I want, and I have tons of people to talk to. Like I'm never alone. Like have the
oh,
best life."
you trip me out because I'm probably one of the few people that's up as early as you are. Sometimes
Really?
you'll respond to something where I've commented on your story or something, and you'll be like, "Oh, hey," and it's like 3:30 in the morning. I'm like, and you're in Central, right?
I am time. So I'm up typically like when I work a 12-hour shift, I'm usually up at 4 a.m.
Okay.
Even when I sleep in, if I sleep in until 6 a.m., like I'm doing good.
Yeah, and so you're up also early to head to the gym, and because you've definitely done a lot of work on yourself to get that.
Oh, yeah, it's taken a long time. It's
Yeah,
probably been over a decade to build like, the physique that you guys see today. So know that it doesn't happen overnight. Oh
and
yeah,
and
people favorite.
you've been you've been doing a cut lately. So tell us
Yep.
about that experience because you're not doing it for a show or
Oh
any.
no.
Did it
Well,
for
I'm
you?
gonna have photos taken, so I'm gonna have another photo shoot. It's time to have like an updated photo shoot. So you guys will have to look for that. They're always so much fun. I haven't dieted in 2 years, so I've been eating at maintenance or surplus for about 2 years. Um, I decided for shits and giggles, I was like, all right, I can manage my lifestyle. It's time to experiment. I just want to kind of see like how my physique is going to respond by making these specific changes because I've learned a lot over the 2+ years. So that gives me better information to help serve you guys when you're asking me specific questions about, well, I'm ready to diet first and foremost. What kind of changes, helped you? So for me going through this experience, I'm better able to help you guys out. And I hate labeling, like somebody asked if I'm keto or carnivore. I'm not keto. I don't do well on a high fat diet. I do better on a high protein diet. And this is just me. So I just say I'm on a meat based diet because I still eat meat, eggs, occasional social alcohol. I still drink, diet pop on occasion or like coffee. Like I'm not strict carnivore by any means. I like to say I'm a liberal carnivore. Like I don't believe and you guys are free to eat however you want. Like I hate slapping labels on things. So
I had a guy on yesterday, Brad Kearns, and he says he's on the CNC diet. I was like, CNC, like CNC Music Factory? He's like, well, no, carnivore and dark chocolate.
oh my god, I love it.
So
Uh,
you're on the C and B, you're carnivore and bourbon.
But I was gonna say, it's kind of like coffee, carnivore, and bourbon. Cocktails, it is what it is. As long as you're not doing things in excess, like
Yeah.
airs, if they bring joy to your life, like go have fun. We're only here for a short period of time.
Make a bourbon glaze for the top of your steak. There you go.
Hey, hey, you know what? I'm not the best steak cooker. I will admit to that. I'm great with the air fryer. I love my meat bars. But oh yeah, I mean I have so many friends that are like awesome cooks. Like it's so fun. And it's not hard to order good food when you go out either. People are like, "How do you eat the way that you eat?" And I go, "Every place you go has a meat order. They've got meat options. You just have to speak up. Like if you have special needs as far as your diet, it's not hard. It's the easiest diet to stick to. I
E-
order meat with a side of meat. Like my parents laugh when we go out because my mom's always like, "Well, she's gonna order salmon and probably a steak or like ground, chicken, a chicken breast or something." It's not hard. You just got to speak up.
Even like Olive Garden has
Oh,
animal.
they have the best grilled salmon. Their salmon's really good.
Yeah, so people like to make excuses. Well, I can't do that because dot dot dot, and then they fill in the blank, and it's
Yeah.
bullshit.
It's like, no, like you can even go to a bar or a bowling alley or whatever. Like most places have like chicken wings or like, something like that that you can order. You just ask, no seasoning, if I can get no seasoning, cook light on the oil, ask them about what oils like the food's cooked in. It is not hard to eat that way. And most places, if you say I have special digestive needs, they will cook your food however you want.
Yes, and if you're very adamant about that, they will be very careful about what they let touch your food. Yeah, I started carnivore a little over 4 years ago. I kind of was keto. I was already kind of merging to mostly animal foods anyway, and I'm like, why not? My ex-wife was like, "Are you going to have cauliflower or broccoli?" I'm like, "I'd rather have another burger, really,
Right.
honestly." And so, so when I travel, it's super easy. Even like fast food restaurants, I know people kind of poo-poo on those, but I'm like, McDonald's burgers will do in a pinch.
Good. Yep, they're not bad. I'll order like 4 quarter-pound patties and like they don't even think anything of it. Really it's getting more common. And they'll just give you like a stack of burgers and you go on your merry way. Like it's not that difficult. It just takes speaking up for yourself.
And it's like $1. It's like it's not that
Oh,
even.
Dad.
Yeah, so it's amazing how the accessibility is only a problem here. And
Mm-hmm.
again, getting through the shit of life. This is one of the shits of life. You got to figure out how to make it accessible. It is accessible. So I love that you make that a part of your messaging.
Oh, absolutely.
So you mentioned you're into CrossFit and you were doing this pre-carnivore days.
Mm-hmm.
What CrossFit? Because that's some intense stuff with the
Well,
wad.
is people think like of all the crazy shit you see online, like CrossFit is just another style of working out. Like you can make it as easy or as hard as you want. That is the beauty of it. You can modify everything. I have modified things, from my days of competition. I don't train that way. Like I don't need to. Longevity is my goal right now. Look at you. You're so good about pulling that stuff up. Like so I'll pick lighter weights. If I need to modify like a movement, I'll modify. But I mean, there are still a lot of things I can do because I love to do it. You can make it as easy or as hard as you want. But how I got into it, I actually dated a guy that was a CrossFit coach years and years and years ago. That relationship lasted a couple years and I learned so much. But that's how I got into lifting and CrossFit. And he was a personal trainer, and I will forever thank him for that because it helped me discover like a huge part of my life. And that's how I got into it, kept up with it, got really, excited about the nutrition piece and just learning different stuff about that. And it just grew from there. And my passion grew from helping other people that have struggled with gut issues and disordered eating and things just like me, because it really is paralyzing when you have, gym goals, performance goals, or you're an athlete and you're struggling with all of this and you're like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to eat. Like, I am at a loss here. Like, I get it. But trust me, there's light at the end of the tunnel. You just got to listen to yourself. But that's how I got into it and stuck with it ever since. And it's, I'm a type A kind of personality, like it's something different all the time. It pushes me. I definitely push myself harder when I go to a group class. So, and I have figured this out because I've done more bodybuilding style and I enjoy that too. But I just love that like community aspect, like pushing yourself, like competing with other people. I get such a better workout when I go to a class and do it. And that piece is going to help you too if you're trying to figure out that fitness piece. If you're one that will not push yourself, or you will not make yourself do your workouts, you need to commit to a group class or a trainer or something, a workout buddy that's going to push you to do it. That
That
is
is
the vital piece about yourself that is going to help you be successful.
That is the one thing about CrossFit that I love, and I love the encouragement when I've watched my friends who do CrossFit, and you see them surrounded, like, get it, okay, go stronger, you got this, go, and it's like such an encouraging atmosphere. You almost wish you could like bring those people with you through every aspect of life. You got this with this decision at work. It's gonna be okay, and you got it. Go.
Yep.
And
It makes you feel amazing. And just, it's everyday people in there, moms, dads, I mean, people from all different professions. Like, it's not the crazy stuff you guys see on TV. I mean, yeah, like some people compete at different levels, but it is what you make it. It's that community aspect. Everybody supports themselves. I have a wonderful gym here in Noblesville. I go to Three Kings Athletics, and they are just bar none, like amazing, amazing. So, if you guys need to find something different, try it out. And you may find out like you don't like it, and that's fine, but that's just another piece to your puzzle that you know.
I think anybody should be willing to do anything once. Like
That-
when I first started doing ice baths, I'm like, this is gonna suck. There's no way I'm doing this. And now I not only do them, I do them daily and I do them long and I teach about it and I want to write a book about it now. Like you never know what passion is just lying dormant within
Yeah,
you until you tap into it.
yeah, you can't be afraid to try new things. Like you love your ice baths, man. I love the sauna. I used to do these things called Sauna Confessions years ago. People would ask me questions and I'd just answer them in the sauna. So similar but different, but you
Yeah.
just got to find your thing and it's okay. Like we're all different.
Did you ever test your blood sugar when you were in the sauna? Because when I go in a sauna, I have a sauna as well. When I go in, my blood sugar tends to drop as much as 15 points within just like 5 or 10 minutes. And you're not hypoglycemic. It's just the body's kind of going,
I
oh,
was So I worked with nutritionist for a while and I wore a continuous glucose monitor. And it's really interesting, like the things that I found out. So like artificial sweeteners didn't affect my blood sugar much. Coffee didn't affect my blood sugar much. The things that spiked my blood sugar the most were I would incorporate rice cakes every once in a while. So obviously carbohydrates would spike it. Let's see, what else? Intense workouts. So if I was fasting a really long time, and I went in and did CrossFit, my blood sugar would go up more than if I had like carbohydrates.
yes.
Stress, stress. So I can't stress enough how important it is to keep your stress level low. And see, when I was in a sauna, like a hot sauna, my blood sugar would raise because that's a stress for me being
Wow.
hot. Mine would raise. When I was incorporating alcohol, I would try different kinds just to see how it affected my blood sugar. It seems like bourbon I do okay, and I'm not drinking like super sugary drinks. Malibu rum was one that would raise my blood sugar, but it has some carbohydrates in it, and vodka would drop my blood sugar significantly. So I could figure out like why I would get cold like at the end of the night, and rarely would I eat when I drank, like just so I could see how my blood sugar was affected. So like different alcohols and different beverages will affect your blood sugar too.
What other biohacks do you incorporate besides infrared sauna?
Oh, so I use red light every day. It's usually in the morning while I eat for about 20 minutes. So I finally pulled the trigger and got one from what is it, ERM Tech. Amazing. Like I can feel a huge difference when I use it versus when I don't. Like in
Yes.
my mood, I'm more awake. My skin looks so much better like using it. And I just simply sit it on the table in front of me while I eat. My cat Pete loves it. Like, oh
Yes.
God, he absolutely loves it. It's really soothing.
You need to create a whole Instagram profile just for your cat Pete,
Oh
because
my
like
God, I love
you're
him.
especially the one where and I commented on it. You posted he sits in front of the refrigerator every morning. He's right there, and I'm like, it's because it's warm right there where
Yeah, that out. You guys help me figure that out. I'm like, why does he sit there? It's just in the morning. He just sits there and stares at it like there's something in there. And I was like, oh yeah, it is probably warm. Oh, but he's great. I've had him for years. Like he's my little man.
Yes. He's the best boyfriend you've ever had. So
The longest commitment I've ever had. Successful commitment I've ever had.
so red light therapy, sauna, obviously the CrossFit exercise, and you eat carnivore. Any other? Do you ground? Do you do sunshine exposure, meditation?
Outside as much as I can. As much as I can. I even notice when I work 12-hour days, I don't feel as well when I'm stuck inside in front of monitors all the time. And I have blocking glasses that I will wear, but I try to get outside and walk around the building like as much as I can. Sunlight exposure is everything.
Yeah.
Every
In training the circadian rhythm, like how do you sleep well if you don't let that sunlight hit at the different angles during the day, and especially early in the day? Of course, you and I are up before the butt crack of dawn, as they call it. And so by the
hour sunrise.
yeah, like literally hours before sunrise.
Yeah.
But the sun comes up, we're able to get that first angle of the day, and it's telling your brain, awake, start making serotonin, start being
Yep.
awake. And then at night, it's the opposite. You bring in the lights down and all the things. And what time do you go to bed?
So if I work a 12-hour shift, I'm off at 7 p.m. I will go home and I mean, I immediately, turn the air up. I make sure it's cold in my room. I have what is it? Block curtains. What is it? What are they called?
Blackout.
Yeah, there you go. Blackout curtains. I couldn't think of the word. So blackout curtains in my room. I just chill and I'm usually asleep in an hour.
Yes. Do you
So
take
I sleep probably by 8:30, 9 p.m. at the latest.
do you take any supplements like magnesium or any CBD oil or anything like that?
I use mainly New Ethics formulation products. You guys can find all of this stuff in the link in my Instagram bio. Um, I use like a multivitamin just to fill in any gaps in my diet. It's kind of like peace of mind for me. I use a product called Cordy's, which is a cortisol balancer. So
Yeah.
I will take that before I go to bed. I do take a shot of ZQL because like I'm transparent here. I can't shut my mind off. I've taken magnesium and all different kinds of stuff, but ZQL works best for me. I know it's a chemical shitstorm, whatever it is, what it is. But I take a shot of that and dude, I'm out in an hour. So I take those. I tend to be estrogen dominant, especially when I'm in a cut. So when I'm cutting food. So I take another product called Estrocourt, also from New Ethics Formulations. I'll take one in the morning, one at night. Cordy's, I take one after my workout, one before I go to bed. My multivitamin I take with breakfast in the morning, and digestive enzymes before I eat my meals, and that's it. That's all I take. I don't take any other like crazy supplements.
Have you experienced the dreaded keto flu? Did you know that most of these symptoms are actually due to your body dumping excess electrolytes? This is where Element comes in. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt with no sugar. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low-carb, or paleo diet. Element contains a science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium, with none of the junk, no sugar, no coloring, no artificial ingredients, no gluten, no fillers, no BS. Everyone needs electrolytes, especially those on low-carb diets, or if you practice intermittent or extended fasting, if you're physically active, or sweat a lot. Add Element today and see how much better you feel and perform. Use the URL drinklmnt.com/Jimmy.
I love all of that, though. I think that's wonderful.
They're
Uh,
basic.
in your carnivore diet, is it mostly muscle meats, or do you incorporate organ meats? What do you do?
I tried organ meats. They just don't sit well with me. I get bloating. I get gas. I can't do it. I don't like the taste either. So I don't really eat organ meats, but I eat all different kinds of meat. So it's mainly ground meat. I digest that the best. So
Yes.
different kinds of beef, lamb, I like Purdue brand ground chicken. There's a local meat market here that is probably my favorite as far as meat. They're called Kincaid's. They're here in Fishers in Indianapolis. My family raises beef cattle, so we also have our own beef at home. So like when we have extra stocked up, like I'll stock up on mainly the ground beef there, or if I go, we'll cook steaks and different kinds of stuff like family gatherings and like family dinner. But I enjoy all different kinds of seafood, meat, like you name it. But organ meats, I just don't like.
Yeah, I've been surprised at my local farmers markets where I get my grass-fed, grass-finished beef, and the price has not changed with all the inflation that's happened at the grocery store. And now ground beef is more expensive at the grocery store. It's stayed the same at the farmers market. A little more expensive for the healthier kind, but I'm like not wanting to tell people that they can go get a better quality for not that much more than what they
Right.
pay for.
Right. And like read your labels. Like, I'm not huge on you have to buy organic everything, but really pay attention to like what you're eating, especially if it's, like a more processed options of meat, because it'll have extra stuff in there. Like you guys need to read your labels. Same thing, like if you're trying to pay attention to the fat content that's in your meat, because some people don't even read nutrition labels. Like if you ask them, well, how much fat are you consuming? They're like, I don't know. Well, that's a big part of your calories, especially if you're meat based. Like you need to figure that stuff out.
Yeah, DeMarco says you should try cow's heart because it tastes like beef tenderloin. I've had cow's heart. It's about as close to muscle meat. Well, the heart is a muscle. So, as a, I've also had cow tongue, Katie. That's a wicked experience because I put it in the crock pot and it the whole house. It was worse than
Uh,
bone.
I mean, I grew up with cattle, and all I can think of is like how bristly it is, like when they lick your hand or something. And I'm just like, I can't do it.
But you have to cut through that tongue and then open it up, and you got this shredded beef on the inside. And if you pull the meat out, you wouldn't know it was tongue meat. It's just another muscle, the tongue. But it's just that idea, the I guess the psychological of is this thing lick me back? So
I mean, if somebody could cook it and cook it well, like you said, I'll try anything once, twice if I like it. But yeah, I'm lazy and it's all about convenience for me. That's why I cook in the air fryer. And I live in an apartment complex, so like I would grill my food in a second if I could have a grill like right there. But when we do have grills, but they're outside and you really can only use them like when it's nice out. So and like I said, I'm lazy and I am on the go all the time. That's why I like my air fryer.
and this is why the air fryer is a godsend. So
I, I named them Al and Abe. Yep. So Abe travels with me. So this is a travel tip. I throw Abe in my car when I travel, as long as, we're not flying anywhere. And I just stock up on meat when I get there. And I just cook with my air fryer, just like anything else. I take it to work with me. So my coworkers all laugh because they know when I'm there because my air fryer's in the break room. And I cook all my stuff fresh there. Yep. So
they
that's how I.
That's how you roll. I love it. I love it. And speaking of work, there you are in your uniform work. You are a radiologist. I have a friend of mine whose name is Kelly, and she's also a radiologist. She's all the time telling me that she's seeing the signs of chronic disease in all the different kind of imaging. Can you talk about some of what you've noticed?
Oh yeah. So you don't realize like your body habitus really plays a huge part in quality imaging. It is much harder for your doctors to diagnose what's going wrong in certain things. It just depends on what it is when you are of a certain body habitus. I see a lot of younger people that can't get around as well as like little 90-year-olds. Like it seems like they're more self-sufficient and just bebop around and get up and they're willing to, help out. So I do see a lot of younger people in really bad shape, and a lot of it just has to do with diet. Tons of abdominal pain. My specialty is CT. So we do tons of CTs like with people with abdominal pain, and a lot of it is diet and lifestyle. And I have to bite my tongue. I can only say so much because there's a fine line. Like just because I'm a nutritionist, I can't give nutrition advice to patients. But it's really hard for me to bite my tongue and not
But
say
if
something.
but if they ask you, I'm
Yeah.
assuming, or
Hey,
you're
Because I get, you're tiny. Like, there's no way you can move me, or there's no way you can do this. And I'm like, I'm a lot stronger than I look. Yeah, yeah, I have to. So it helped me at work too. CrossFit and just cleaning up my diet helped me a ton at work because I have a very physical job. And they'll ask me, well, what do you do? You're tiny. And I was like, I eat nothing but meat and eggs. And they're like, what? So, I'll explain, hey, I have Crohn's. This is why I do it. And it's just a nice little, conversation starter, like, and then patients will open up and they'll, talk about certain things. So, and I really enjoy that part of my job too, in X-ray, is just getting to know people on a deeper level and being able to help them, just feel better, because people in the ER because they don't feel good. So the last thing I'm going to do is be mean to someone or make them feel bad. But I do see a lot of people that like diet and lifestyle changes would probably solve 90% of their problems.
But it's in that moment of crisis when they're most open to change. I'm in a crisis because I'm in the ER and I'm having to come see this beautiful radiologist who is all fit and everything. And I might be a little bit, but I'm very fit, is what you
Yeah.
should say.
My mom says little person, big personality.
Yes, yes. But
Mom
like,
works in X-ray too, so it's funny. We all know each other.
that's the perfect opportunity to educate. And I know my friend Kelly, she does on the down low because she also is concerned about getting caught and getting reported and all this stuff. But she's been able to at least pass on information when patients ask her, hey, what do you think? And then she's a nutritionist as well. So all you wonderful radiologists, you know your stuff. It's just too
We
bad to get
see
that the
it.
patients in need.
Yep, every day. But I love my professions. I love wearing lots of hats and just being a, multifaceted human. I love it. So for everybody out there, like, don't be afraid to like different things or share your voice or your story, because it really matters. It could be the one thing that somebody really needed to hear that day.
Yes.
Um, Many people are scared to tell their story or show their body or whatever. Like, I love the human body. Like, I love seeing people like showing themselves proudly, and just people, they're stifled because there's those haters and keyboard warriors out there that are mean, unfortunately. But don't let that dim your shine, because whatever you have to say or share could be the one thing somebody needed to hear today.
People often say how I handle it all. I'm like, I've been at this 18 years. If I was going to be scared away by idiots on the internet, I would have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah, my mom always said, people ain't talking about you, you ain't doing something right. So,
Oh, I must be doing a lot right then.
yeah, right? Who cares? I bless and block. That's what I do. Bless
Yeah.
and
All right, one last question.
yep.
You are super vulnerable. And again, that's something that I try to be in my own work, not near to the level of Katie Kelly, but I'm pretty vulnerable in my own work. How do you do that? How do you get someone to be willing to go there? I know you got to let go of a lot of like insecurities, but how did you get there?
The more I talked openly about what was bothering me or what I was feeling, therapy helps a lot. So nobody be ashamed to seek therapy, because it really helps you open up and just talk about things. Everybody is going through their own shit. Like, no one has a perfect life. And the more, it's therapy for me, because every morning I'll sit and I'll write whatever's on my heart. I'll listen to your guys' questions from what I get, and that's what I write about. It helps us connect on a deeper level and just know that we're not alone. And it helps us open up more fully, because, you receive so much love, so much more love than hate when you open up about vulnerable things. Writing is a creative outlet for me. So I love Instagram because I'm able to write and share. And really, I don't pre-plan my posts. I'm a very intuitive led person. I just get up in the morning, and whatever I feel like, this is what I need to share today, or whatever inspiration I get. Yeah, I just share it, and then I just write about whatever I'm feeling. And I hope to answer your guys' questions, or, give enlightenment in the process, and have fun too. Like, man, I like to share funny stuff about relationships, love, like dating, the food, the whole bit. My God, that was my favorite video.
That
I
was hilarious.
love it.
I was like, get it, guys.
I know. I was like, damn, he thinks this is better than me after I've had 3 or 4 drinks. I was like, this is great.
Yes. Yeah, you definitely are an example. So thank you. You inspire me constantly. I'm all the time interacting with you, and you actually write back.
Yeah,
People realize when I'm the one that writes back to them, I'm like, I'm doing all this content. I want to interact with you. So
right.
I can personally attest that she does write you back. At least
Yes.
she does me anyway. So
If you message me, I promise I will write you back. I will at least acknowledge what you say to me because I do get lots of messages.
yeah.
But I will, as long as it's not like you being a creeper or stupid something silly, um, I will at least acknowledge what you have to say. I will talk with you guys. Like, that's what we do this for. We do this for you guys. I mean, it's good therapy for us too, but this is why we put out content. Like, we do it for you. We don't just like do it for us. Like, we're doing it to help you guys.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, keep up the great work. Her name's Katie Kelly, you guys. Lil Bit of Fit with a bunch of underscores in there. Go look her up. She mentioned earlier that she's got a link tree on there. Definitely click on that. And once you're there, about her coaching services and all the like products and things that she mentioned, uh, all kind of recipes. You got lots of free stuff for people.
Oh, tons of free content on my account. Tons. And if you guys can't find it or you need something, just message me. I will point you in the right direction.
Yes. Well, Katie, I'm so glad we got to connect here today. You were lovely.
Yes,
Much for being here.
it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Come here. I got to tell you about this kit. It is a hair mineral analysis kit to determine your deficiencies in key minerals. It'll also show you your toxicity with heavy metals. It'll show hormones, your immune system, your thyroid, your adrenals, and your metabolism all in one kit. And all you got to do is go to upgradedformulas.com, use the coupon code Jimmy. You'll get 15% off this kit, but they have everything that you need to just basically give them a piece of your hair, and they'll show you how to do that. And then you mail it in, and they'll show you specifically where you have deficiencies. And then go to upgradedformulas.com. They have a full array of nanotechnology that will help you shore up those deficiencies in the minerals. So again, upgradedformulas.com, and check it out. Test, don't guess.